When a person is put in a dangerous situation, all his or her alerts turn on and any kind of unexpected reaction can happen. Nobody knows how he or she is going to react in a situation like this until it happens to him or her. The pair were riding through the bush outside Sydney when they spotted a head poking out of the mud flats. Then they sprung into action. A young kangaroo is lucky to be alive today, thanks to the quick thinking and ingenuity of a pair of NSW teenagers. In April 2018, 19-year-old Jack Donnelly and Nick Heath were out riding their motorbikes by the Nepean River in Sydney, Australia. The place where they were in was very muddy, but the boys didn't mind. Then Jack spotted something strange, a tiny animal head poking out from the surface of a mud quarry. The head belonged to a little kangaroo that had gotten stuck in the muck 100 feet, 30 meters, away from solid land. The kangaroo looked like he'd been stuck for some time and he was struggling to survive. The boys stopped and decided what to do. They wanted to help the kangaroo, but the mud flats were dangerous. Still, the boys decided it was worth the risk to save a helpless animal. And so they ran home, grabbed some rope, and headed back to the mud flats. Nick tied the rope around his waist and started crawling towards the kangaroo. Jack held onto the rope and filmed the daring rescue. It turned out crawling through the thick mud was harder than Nick thought it would be, but he pushed through, getting closer and closer to the scared baby kangaroo. Finally, Nick reached the kangaroo. He carefully pulled the little animal out of the mud and held him tight. Then he calmly asked Jack to start pulling the rope to help him get back to solid ground. The kangaroo was clearly very scared, writhing and crying in the mud. However, once Heath managed to pull him out, he instantly relaxed. According to the dodo, Heath told Today, "The roo's life was important to us, so we went out on an arm and a leg. We think he went searching for water there, and it was really muddy, so he got himself really stuck." Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story. Soon, Nick and the kangaroo were both safe. Even though the kangaroo was free, he wasn't out of danger yet. The poor animal was covered in cold mud, starving and dehydrated. The boys immediately called Wires, a New South Wales-based animal rescue organization. While Nick and Jack waited for Wires, they held the kangaroo, keeping him warm. They also decided to give him a name, Lucas. "We just agreed on the name. We liked it. It's cute," says Nick. Wires arrived and took Lucas to their sanctuary. There they gave him the medical attention he needed. Wires volunteer Josie was the one who went out to collect him from the young men. He'd been stuck in thick mud and clay, but they had no idea for how long. Lucas, as Nick and Jack named him, is now in care with Wires volunteer Desley. Without knowing how long he was struggling to get out of his clay pit, we don't know the extent of his exertion, and he was still at risk of myopathy, which sadly can be fatal. He was totally covered in thick clay and cold and exhausted. Once sedated, he was slowly warmed, then washed in tepid water to get rid of all clay that was coating him, then warmed up again slowly to get his body temperature up and given warm fluids. Slowly but surely, Lucas began recovering from his ordeal. The kangaroo was clearly sick from not being able to access food or water while he was stuck, so the teens contacted Wires Australian Wildlife Rescue right away. A few days after the kangaroo rescue, Australian news agency 9 News picked up the story and interviewed the boys. Both were humble, and they simply smiled when the anchors said they had done something very brave. One of the anchors asked if they would do it again, and Nick quickly responded, "It's a pretty patriotic thing to do, and we're proud of what we did. If we saw something like that again, we'll do it all over again." Donnelly's grandmother says drought in the area has led to some animals desperate to find water. She thinks the kangaroo may have been trapped in mud while searching for water. She was proud of the two boys who had done something deliberately in the process of playing. After Lucas recovered, he started spending time outside. Wires shared a sweet video of the kangaroo hopping around. They also made sure to thank Jack and Nick on their Facebook page. What a difference a few days makes. Huge thanks again to Nick and Jack, who conducted the amazing rescue of a young male eastern gray kangaroo from the thick mud at Agnes Banks. As you can see, Lucas is doing well, he's moving well, and is alert. However, he's still being closely monitored for signs of myopathy. We all hope he will make a full recovery. Due to dry weather in the region, wildlife specialists say that the roo had most likely been searching for water when it got stuck. Judging by the state of his kidneys, the rescuers also say that it must have been stuck for some time. Jack and Nick are two selfless teens who risk their lives to save an animal in need. These two are true heroes. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.